So I could really use an e-bike, you know, to not arrive at school or work tired. But the thing is, they're really expensive. Even the conversion kits are absolutely insane. So that's why I'm going to try to build an e-bike from scratch for the least money possible. The first step is finding a bike.
Alright, I got this bike from a friend who didn't want it anymore. It's pretty old though, so I need to fix some things.
Alright, so it kinda sucks, but that bike is just way too broken to be even worth fixing. I took it to the bike shop, and they say it would take hundreds of dollars to get it into a rideable state, you know? So, I'm gonna have to find a new bike. And it's getting recycled anyway, so it's not that bad.
Alright, so I found a new bike on Kijiji. It's $100, and it's from Norco, so it seems pretty good. And yeah, I'm gonna see how it is, and then I'm probably gonna buy it. Alright, so I got the bike, and it looks really good. The dude, just got it tuned up too, which is perfect. It does need to be cleaned though before I start anything, so that's what I'm gonna do first. Alright, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna degrease the chain and add some oil to it. So I did that too, with some 3-in-1 oil, and the bike looks great now. What's next is to buy the parts for the actual conversion.
For the motor, I'm using a 350 watt rear hub motor from Ebike BC. 350 watts because I don't need that much speed and it's also cheaper, and rear instead of front because I don't want to put that much torque in the front fork. To control the speed of the bike, I'm using a thumb throttle. Alright. So what I found worked for me to get the grip off was that I wedged a flathead screwdriver under the grip, sprayed a bit of WD-40 into it, spread it around, then put the screwdriver in even further, then repeat until it pops off just like this. Holy shit, I'm such a fucking butterfly. Holy fuck. This looks pretty good. Throttle's over here. I'm not really changing any of the original spots for the other things. You can easily use it while I can even grab it right here. I'm also getting the controller from there. Alright, so there's the wheel, and there's the controller for the wheel, for the motor, and butter. Alright, so I'm looking at the controller, and first of all, oh my god, feels really fucking high quality. But, you look up here, that's at this orange connector, right? Okay, that's not fucking supposed to be there, okay? If you look at the pictures, it has a JST60 adapter, like in the pictures, but this is not JST60, and so won't fit on this gosh darn JST60 connector from the throttle, which I specifically bought because of this gosh darn connector type, right? And I'm guessing, if you look at this model number, right? You see at the end is XCF01F. And in the pictures, it's XCF01C. So I'm assuming this is a newer version of the controller, which kind of sucks for me though. In any case, let's take a look at the wheel. It's pretty good. Alright, so now I'm going to remove the wheel and put on the motor. Alright, so I just took the wheel off the bike, and now I was just about to switch the cassette over, but now I realized I need a thing called a lock ring to be able to take the gears and stuff off. So I need to go to a local bike shop to get that really quickly. Alright, I'm in the bike shop. Alright, so you know what really sucks? So there are two different ways that these little gear things can be built, right? There are freewheels and there are cassettes, right? And they don't work with each other, right? And I looked at the Norco Olympia website and it said it had a cassette, right? And so I got the cassette remover thing. But it turns out it's actually a goddamn freewheel. How the fuck was I supposed to know that? And the other thing is that this new rim only accepts cassettes. So I'm gonna have to see if I can return the cassette remover and just buy a normal cassette. Alright, so I was able to return the lock ring to the bike store and I got this cassette. Alright, now that that's over with, I'm going to transfer the tire and inner tube from the old wheel to the new one. Alright, I got the tire off. looks good. Alright, now it's actually time to put the rear wheel back on the bike. Alright, so quick update. It's not fitting, and it's because of this little dropout thing. I want to see if I can file it down a little bit to make it easier. Alright, I've been having some trouble putting the rear wheel in, so I used some threaded rod and some nuts just to widen the dropouts a bit. Alright, after a ton of filing the dropouts, I finally got the rear wheel in. Alright, a problem that I had was that this last gear on the cassette was jamming against this little tiny washer here on the side of the frame. So what I did against that was I added some washers onto the axle here and widened the dropouts a bit more and slid the rear wheel in, and now it works great. Alright, now that the wheel's in, I'm gonna see what I can do for the battery, because that just came in too. The big boulder. Look at that. Alright, so the battery's in, and now I need to find a place to mount the controller. I think I'm gonna do it at the bottom here, because there's a nice hole for a screw that I can fix it to, and yeah. Alright, turns out this hole is a bit too far up, so I need to drill another one around here. Alright, now I got the good throttle connector. Alright, the cable looks good. I'm gonna chop off the JST one and replace it with this. Alright, it looks a bit weird, but it should be good. Alright, so the soldering's done, and I plugged it in, and like it fits, right? But for some reason, when I press the throttle, nothing happens, right? And I have no idea why this is the case. At first, I thought it was because I did like a shit soldering job or something, so I redid the whole thing, and I made sure it was perfect, and it still doesn't work. What's bugging me, and what might be the problem, is that there's one connector on the controller that is left unconnected. It looks like a 7-pin Joulet connector, and on the website it said it would go to like some display up here, and I don't have that. And I thought it would still work with the throttle, but I don't know, maybe it might not. So I think this is gonna be it for part 1, and I'll figure this out. When I actually get it to work, I'll make the second part. And until then, subscribe, okay?